It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions? Who spends himself in a worthy cause? Who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement? And who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Are you ready to be motivated? What is it that you're looking for? We're hoping that we are able to provide that for you through this Entrepreneur Impact Summit. We have 5 fabulous speakers, presentations, stories that are going to take you to another level. I thank you very much for attending this summit, and I welcome you to the Entrepreneur Impact Summit. I am CEO Maurice Chism, and I am your host. Thank you very much for attending. We have a fantastic presenter today. I want you to take a deep, hard look at yourself. There's a question that she's going to ask, what are you good at? And I want you to listen to her story as she finds what she's good at that she didn't even realize was there. I want you to welcome our presenter, the minister, Tyra Frazier.
Good afternoon. My name is Tyra Frazier, and I am the author of Traveling Through Your Storm, and also the National Day of Prayer book, where there were over 50 authors that I collaborated with Dr. Teneria Drummond-Smith, and also my upcoming project, which will be the second edition to Traveling Through Your Storm. So this afternoon, I would like to speak to you about entrepreneurship and what that looked like for me and the process that I went through. So in the very beginning, let me just start and give a precursor that I did not want to be an author. My mother was the one who pushed me into this. Many of us, when we consider starting our own businesses or going into business, it's normally something that we like to do or something that we love to do or something that we're even passionate about. But my little story is a little different. I did not want to go into this. I did not want to pursue authorship. This was my mother's idea. She was determined that there was something that I had that the world needed. And so she kind of pushed me into this. So I'm going to have to start with that because this was not my idea or not my original plan to be an author. So after her ensuing and her constant pushing me to do this, I finally consented. So the first step for me in getting this project together was just simply to begin. Now, I must say that my first print of my book, Traveling Through Your Storm, had to be republished. Now, let me just tell you that I do not recommend self-publishing. It is a very daunting task. I do believe that we should seek out some professionals to have professional design covers, high definition graphics on your book, and also to ensure that what you've written, your content, the grammar is correct. So I do not recommend self-publishing so much because it is a lot of work. So with that, I did self-publish my first book. And after I realized, after it was put out on Amazon and people had purchased it, that there were a few things that needed to be corrected. So my next step was to go and to have Love Clones Publishing reformat and republish the book for me. And so the book that you will see when you search on Amazon is actually the second version of the book. And so what I did was I contacted them. I had them redo the cover, go in the inside and check for grammar and spelling and put it together a little differently. And once that project was completed, we put it out there. It has been a tremendous success. One of my success stories is that there was a young lady that contacted me from Minnesota, I believe, who had somehow come in contact with the book. Now, I don't know anybody from Minnesota, but she somehow got a hold of this book and wanted to order 15 copies to bless people with. I was so elated. I never imagined that this book would go the places that it has gone. I don't know exactly what I anticipated when I started this project, because remember, I didn't necessarily want to do it, but this was my mom's idea. So I went along with it so she would be happy, but it turned out to be something that has been a blessing to my life and to those that have come in contact with. So as an author, my suggestion to you is that if you are indeed an author, my suggestion would be that you would get started. One of the things that I often tell people when they ask me how I put my book together, I have to remind them that the book was all over the place originally. I just sat down and I wrote bits and pieces here. I wrote a piece there. I wrote a piece here. And then the book came together. We put it together later. What am I saying to you? If you are an author, get started. It doesn't matter if you're writing one chapter today or you're writing chapter 5 tomorrow, you're writing chapter 2 next week. Get started. You have to start writing because that's your biggest hurdle. You have to set goals for yourself. So say, for instance, during the week, you're going to set a goal of writing maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour per week, or even per day if you have the time. Make sure you put the work in to get it done. That is so important. Put in the work to get it done. So set a goal for yourself. Matter of fact, let me just put this out there now. Why don't you set a short-term goal and a long-term goal? That way, once you reach your short-term goals, you can be encouraged to complete your long-term goals thereafter. So what would a short-term goal be? So simply write something 30 minutes per day. That would be a good short-term goal. What would another short-term goal be? To look at design covers, to get a picture in your mind of what you want your cover to be, or how you want your information relayed to your audience that you're targeting. Okay, so those are examples of short-term goals. And then you set long-term goals. You know, once your book is published, you know, what audience do you want to target this to? How do you want to market your material? Do you want to do that on Zoom because we're in the era of Zoom? Do you want to have a publishing, a book signing on Zoom? How do you want to organize that? Do you have friends that you want to invite? Do you have family? Are you, your co-workers, your church members? Put all of that together. That would be considered your long-term goals, but you have to set goals for yourself in order to reach them and get the project moving along. So again, my first suggestion would be 1, to get started. 2, to set some short and long-term goals. And then 3, finally, to do your research. Why do I say that? Because a lot of times we have good ideas, we have plans, we have something that we feel like could do good in the community, but we don't put in enough work behind the scenes to get it done. For example, if you would like to be a caterer or open a restaurant, what restaurants are already in your area? Who are the demographics? What people live in your community that you could market your delicious tasting food to? Those are things that you can do behind the scenes as far as research to understand and better market your business. Okay, say for instance you want to be a photographer. Are you taking photos daily or weekly? Are you going out? What type of pictures do you like to take? Are you taking pictures of animals, still shots, moving shots, colored, black and white? Work all of that out so that you can be the best photographer, dancer, caterer, author that you can be. These are just a few little tips that will help you along the way. So what I've often been asked, what has helped me to be established as an author? Well, one of the things that has helped is that the consistency. So once you complete your project, you've gone through all of the writing, and you've gone through the review process, and you approved your cover for your book, you've approved the back of the book that talks about the author, and now what do you do as far as marketing? Who are you marketing your materials to? So one of the things that has helped me is that I understood that part of my target area was going to be those in the community and those in the church. And those two separate things, those in the community and those in the church. So what I did was I set up book signings in both places, not to specifically just target church people and not to specifically just target people in the community. I also scheduled myself at events where there would be all people from all walks of life. And so, for instance, they do this the Circle of Sisters every year. Maybe somebody is doing what they call pop-up shops. You can sit there, you can make arrangements to participate in those areas and get your materials out there. So those are just a few of the things that have helped me. The book signings in different areas, just taking the book with me and telling people. I remember one instance, one of my friends was on the bus and she was reading my book. And somebody behind her, believe it or not, was reading over her shoulder and asked her where she got the book. And she actually gave the book to them. And then she purchased another book from me. So those are instances where the book has gone. I had no idea this would actually take place. Remember, I didn't want to do it. But once I did, I was so proud of myself. And you will be proud of yourself as well once you get out there and get started. So my advice is to get started, do your research, and make sure, again, you have short and long-term goals. One of the many advantages of being an author in this time, especially now, is during the pandemic, where people need encouragement. They need hope. They're looking for something to hang on to. They're looking for something tangible that they can hold. And so it's my duty to make sure that I'm putting material out there that they would be able to read and grasp. It's not so high up they can't understand, and not so theological that they just put the book down. And so what I've done in the first book is I've crafted several meditations. I believe in the first book there are 25 meditations available in the book that's plainly written to help you through certain situations. For instance, there's one in the book that says when love puts you out. There's one, the title of the book, the meditation is called Traveling Through Your Storm. And so I specifically titled these things for events that I was going through in my personal life at one time. They are meditations written from my heart and just things that God has placed on my heart to do. What does that mean for you? Take a look at what you're good at. I honestly believe that your business, your entrepreneurship is right here in your hands. Why do I say that? Because the work that you can do comes from here. So if you're good at photography, maybe that's your way to entrepreneurship. Maybe you're good at cooking, cooking with your hands. Maybe that's your end to the entrepreneurship. You have to take a look at your passion, what you enjoy doing. Now, let me preface that in saying this. One of the things I enjoy doing is dancing. I love to dance, liturgical dance, miming, and those types of things. Will that bring me a profit? In some cases, yes, because churches give love offerings, but is that the means to financial freedom for me? Absolutely not. Is financial freedom afforded with being an author? I would say not. I don't know that anybody is rich off books, but maybe TD Jakes and some of the higher ups. I'm not there yet, but I'm working my way. But what I am saying to you is that you should put to your hands the work and the effort that is necessary to get your business up and off the ground. Maybe you're fearful of maybe it's not going to work. Maybe my plan is not secure, but I can assure you that once you step out of fear and you begin to put your plan to work, remember your short-term goals, your long-term goals, your plan, once you begin to put your plan into action, then you can begin to see the benefits that come along with putting in the work. Now, during this pandemic, I've seen many, a great number of people launch their businesses out of this pandemic. What does that actually mean? That means that people are still in need of things during this pandemic. They're still requiring, there's still a supply and a demand for certain things. You may have something specifically that somebody stands in need of. Right? So whatever that may be, put your hands to the plow and get that done. Somebody may enjoy your cooking. You see all of these TV shows, they're always looking for the next singer. They're always looking for the next actress. They're always, all of these shows where they're looking for the next best cook, best actor, best singer. Somebody is always looking for something. Remember that somebody, all it takes is one person to notice you and what you have to offer that will make the difference in your business. So be encouraged and put your hand to the plow and just know that what you have to offer, somebody is actually going to need. Somebody wants some lotions. Somebody wants some more music or some beautiful pictures. So what am I saying? Get out there, do the research, and put your best foot forward. You can do it. I believe in you, and if I can do it, you can do it too. Entrepreneurship is a hard work. You have to work harder than most because it's your baby, it's your thing, and you want to always put your best foot forward. So that means you're going to have to work a little harder, but you can do it, and the rewards will surely pay off. One of the things that I've seen during this pandemic is that many of my friends have launched their own personal businesses. Some have done paparazzi, some have done personal travel. And although we know that during this time, a lot of people are not traveling, it is going to pick up. And so what I see is daily, the people that are doing the travel business, they're putting the travel tips out there. They're asking questions. Where would you like to travel to? The young lady that's selling the paparazzi, she's always putting her new jewelry out there and saying, you know, we got shipments coming in. Why do they do that? Because they're doing free advertising on their social media. So whatever your work is, use that to your advantage and take full advantage of it to get your product out there, to get your name out there, to make sure you have the proper venues that people can find you and that you can interact with people. I do have a ministry page, Tyra Frazier Ministry. I did have an author page, but I combined the two because the book was inspirational. On the other hand, it is also what I do. So I combined the two pages so that when I connect with people, I can say, hey, this is one aspect, I'm offering books. This is another aspect, I can offer prayer to you or whatnot. These are the things that this ministry can offer. Although this ministry is not a business, it's not my entrepreneurship. My entrepreneurship is strictly the authorship. So people, please do this, okay? Just take a quick note. I want you to remember a few things. One, you have plenty of resources available during this time. So ask Maurice, ask the Chism Group after these videos are viewed, hey, how can I get in touch with the presenter for this? Or how can I get in touch with the person that presented the material for that? We have resources, we have connections, we have the ability to answer questions even outside of this format. And so reach out and connect with some of us. If you're interested, if you find somebody that's an author, reach out to them and just ask question after question. I know that we'll be here to help. If it's somebody else that comes along later and you're interested in that, ask for more information of how you can stay in contact with them or get to know them and ask them questions. You know, all of us have had to follow in the footsteps of others and learn what works and what does not work and what is good and sometimes what is not so good. So don't be afraid to reach out and ask questions. That's what this format is for. We are so gracious. I do want to take this time at this moment to thank Brother Maurice and the Chism Group for this opportunity. And I pray that you have been encouraged, that you would be willing to go ahead and step out there and get it done and start the work. Remember, short-term goals, long-term goals. Get started, do your research, and then connect with the right people. And that will help push you into your own entrepreneurship, your own financial freedom, your own way of putting money in your hands, extra money into your hands. I truly believe that in this season, everything we need is right here in our hands to make ourselves financially sound. Thank you for your time and your attention. Thank you again, Brother Maurice, for the opportunity. Be blessed, everyone, and Happy New Year. God bless you.
What did you get out of that beautiful presentation today? Are you setting a schedule? Who are you being motivated by? Some of us have motivation that comes from various places, and a lot of us get great motivation from our parents, hopefully that you understand what you are good at, and thank you very much for attending today. Are you dealing with self doubt, procrastination? Are these things that are prohibiting you from reaching your highest heights of getting to greatness? I would love for you to listen to this next presenter who discusses her own journey to greatness. I present to you Miss Nikki Cuesta.
Welcome to the Entrepreneur Impact Summit. My name is Nikki Cuesta, and I am so honored to be here today to be able to share my story and how I became an entrepreneur. Now, since I was a little girl, I wanted to be everything under the sun. When I say everything, I mean everything. First, I wanted to be a dancer. I wanted to be a choreographer, open up a studio one day, or travel all around the world and be able to dance on a stage in front of anybody and everybody who would watch. However, I was able to do that in my very young days as a student in dance for a Hispanic folk group in my elementary school back when I was 5. Did that for a couple years. Super loved it. Anybody that knows me absolutely knows that I love everything to do with dance, shows, movies, anything. I still have the passion, but that wasn't my path. Now, becoming a basketball player wasn't an option because the WNBA wasn't out at the time that I was a teenager, but I still had love for the game. So I just continued to watch it and enjoy the different teams and the sport and the teamwork that goes on with that. Now, I always wanted to be an ice skater. However, that is still a dream. Unfortunately, it will not happen. I'll continue also to watch that on the tube. Working in an office. I wanted to be part of corporate America in a clean environment, having my own desk or my own office and becoming a manager, supervisor, whatever it was, that's what I wanted to do. Now, never once as a child did I ever say I wanted to own my own business. I didn't even know that that was a possibility, which is kind of strange because you're always told that you could be whatever you want to be and do whatever you want to do. Just put your mind to it. But then there's all these other things that happens in your life that you kind of deteriorate from that possibility. And it could be an array of things. It could be things happening in the household. It can be just not wanting to pay student loans. It could be a lot of different barriers. Now, I was born in Chicago, Illinois. Great family, great group of friends that I was always surrounded by, very supportive. I enjoyed everything about my life. I believe I had a good life. My parents were awesome. I had my siblings, my cousins, my friends, and not a care in the world. However, let me just tell you a quick funny story before we continue. In my senior year of high school, my parents decided to go to Philadelphia and New York for, I believe, 3 weeks. So they were out there visiting their parents that they hadn't seen in a while. Now, we were super excited for them, but little did we know, we had a little rude awakening once they came home. In May of 2000, my parents came back home, and again, reminder, I was in my senior year, and they advised that they were going to move to Philadelphia in August of the same year. So we had the choice if we wanted to go. And of course, we were like in shock, couldn't believe it. How could we leave behind everything we knew, all our friends, our family that still lived there? So we kind of slept on the idea for a few days, and we gave them our blessings. We really wanted them to be able to explore a new state, and it was kind of an advantage for us. Like if we ever wanted to leave Chicago, we always had a place to go for vacation. So after a couple trips back and forth to Philly and Chicago, I decided to actually make the change in 2001, just looking for an opportunity with a new scene, where no one knew my name, just kind of start all over. Not that anything bad was going on in Chicago, but I just felt like I was just staggered. I had my job, I had a car, but there was just something missing, which was the best decision that I could have ever made. I met my wife of 18 years now. I had my son, who's now 15, and went back to school to gain all the multiple degrees, certifications, and licenses that I was able to obtain, which was pretty amazing. The idea of becoming my own boss started about 2003. I knew whatever I wanted to do, I had to take the time to do the research and be able to educate myself in every way so that I can be successful. So my first stop was Job Corps. I took a business technology course that was about 12 months long. I finished it in 8 months. Went off to community college, and I was going to start my real estate, my 2 courses that I needed for real estate. However, I had a death in family that I had to fly to Chicago in 2004, so I was not able to finish that. Then I had an empowerment group, which was a community business certification program. It showed us how to start and market our business. We had great ideas to start a business that would start up, but the cost was way too high at the time. So my aunt flew me to Vegas for 4 months to help her with her filing system, building her website, and some payment services that she needed some help on. So that was like the first taste of being able to possibly manage a business, which was super exciting, of course, because now all these ideas are flowing in my head. Like, I can do this, and, you know, how would this be? But I came back to Philadelphia and kind of lost all my motivation. I wasn't financially prepared to get into a business or start anything, or at least I thought. So I got a job. I got a job in corporate America. Just what I wanted, guys. I applied for a great company called Health Partners Plans. It was a managed care organization that provided healthcare services. At this time, I had no healthcare experience. They took a chance on me based on my personality and what I had to offer. I had nothing to compare it to. But let me tell you that I took full advantage of coming to a new company with no background, no experience. So I soaked everything up. I adopted and created my talents and my skills that I possess today. During my 14 years there, I served as a customer service representative for 8 of those years, and 6 years in the company. The last 6 years, I served as a pre-cert coordinator, which were the best years of my life. I met some amazing people, and I am so glad that I'm able to take those relationships with me throughout my lifetime. I was able to obtain my degree in health information technology, thinking that I was going to stay in the healthcare business. I thought they would have to drag me out of the company. I mean, I loved it so much. I love what I did. But again, there was still something missing. My personal development was growing, and it just needed more. Now, I felt that was my temporary future, for my current future, to get me prepared for what was about to happen and what was about to change. So 2015 was my next step. I got my real estate license. But shortly after that, due to the demand at my job, I had to kind of put it on the shelf. I was working on various projects and initiatives, and again, I value the work that I put out there. So it was very important for me to be able to participate at 100%. So real estate was kind of put on the back burner. But have you ever asked yourself, what do you have to do to position yourself for greatness? I don't want to be great for just myself. I want to be great for others and let others know that they can be great too. Now, 2020 was the year, my year. Through all our pain and the world's pain, I felt it really opened up people's eyes to tap into their talents and find new ways to look at opportunities. My mindset started to shift, and it started to shift quickly. Not like I wanted to at the time, but it really did. And that's when NCPA Notary was born. That is my full-time entrepreneur, I wouldn't say job, business, I'll say business, that I do full time. That brings in the money right now. Let's see. So I also have a lifestyle club that includes health, wellness, and travel. I reinstated my real estate license due to lots of people that requested it in my sphere, which I am truly excited to be able to jump into that. Now, my biggest achievement was investing in myself, my education, my knowledge, and my awareness of my skills. Now I wake up every day and I ask myself, what do I have to do to continue to position myself for greatness? That's just a constant thing that I'm just doing every day, because I just want to be able to motivate others to do the same. So I'm proud to say that through my hard work and determination, that in October of 2020, I was able to resign from my 14-year career in the healthcare industry to grow my notarial services business to the world as a full-time entrepreneur. It has been a dream come true that now I can get time to myself. I have peace and time for my family, which are all the great things that you look for when you want to work for yourself. It's still not easy. There's still a lot of work to be done, but now it's at your own pace, at your own time. So let me just go back to some of the things that held me back all those years. So we're talking about my dream starting in 2003, but me not actually making a move to 2020. So let me just go over a few things that we kind of do to ourselves that hinder us from making that move. So we lack to plan. We need to have a plan, and we need to have a plan fast. We should always have goals and ready to attack them at any time. Lack of finances. We need to start budgeting and being able to put those funds away for when you really want to make those things happen. I believe the fear to start and the fear to fail are probably some of the most biggest things. We also tend to make a lot of excuses as to why something's holding us back, as to why now is not the time. There's never a perfect time. Just know that when that idea hits your head, you need to run and you need to get it done, because you'll just never know. I rather say, I tried that, I failed, that's probably not in my wheelhouse. Great story. While I was with Health Partners Plans, I had a pharmacy technician course that I took, which kept me away from my family every Thursdays for about 3 hours. So I was there from like 6 to 9, didn't get home till 10. So I did that for about a year. And then when it came to testing, I'm like, okay, this is definitely not for me. I just didn't want to go into the pharmacy world, business, or anything like that. So, but at least I tried. At least I took that initiative to kind of learn the business and learn that no, that wasn't for me. Another thing is procrastination. Procrastination has always been part of my life and probably will continue to be, but I've learned to manage it. I've learned to say to myself, Nikki, you need to get this done, and it needs to be done soon. So let's not procrastinate. Even if you're tired, if you have other things going on, you need to prioritize, organize, do whatever it is you have to do, but get it done. Now, another great thing, and the last thing I'll touch on this, is self-doubt. There is no other craziness than us doubting ourselves and what our abilities are and what our gifts are and what was given to us as a gift, whether it be a listener, a speaker, a dancer, an ice skater. a motivational speaker, a coach, a life coach, anything, we cannot doubt ourselves. We need to try. That is a major thing. But there are pros and cons to everything in life, and being an entrepreneur is no different. It's probably the largest list you will have to weigh your decisions on. It's just true. That's how it is. So let me go through a few pros and cons. Becoming your own boss is a huge pro. That means that you can do what you want, however you want it, in the way that you want to do it. So you don't have to call anybody to say I'm calling out. I am, what else? What else are some things that you have to tell a boss? Like, I don't even know anymore, but let's just go on to a risk. Now, a con for that is that you do take a risk. Now you're the boss. Now people are looking up to you. So it's important that you do not drop the ball if you want to have a successful business. So there's a lot of risk. There's financial risk. There's reputation. There's an array of things, but you have to be mindful of what those risks are so that you can avoid them at any cost. Now, another pro is managing your own time. Being able to set your schedules and being able to do what you want, when you want, with whomever you want it. It's another big deal as to why I decided to take that leap of faith after many years of trying to convince myself that I can do it and there's nothing stopping me. But you know, that 9 to 5 kind of is, you know, secure. Those are checks coming in every day, every 2 weeks, a week, whatever it is that you get paid. But having a peace of mind was a big deal for me. Being able to spend more time with my family and do more things around the house and time for myself. Let's just go to another con. A con could be loss, any type of loss. Again, financial, loss of friendships, relationships, family members, for, again, a slew of reasons. Now, you have to be prepared for that as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. It's not going to be all peachy as we always think, but it can, you know, you just have to be able to adjust to any situation. Another pro, creating the amount of finance. Now, in corporate America, in a 9 to 5 job, there's a cap. There's a level, there's a ceiling where you can only make but so much. You get so much raises every year, which that only covers for your medical expenses. So, but you would need to invest a lot of time and education to even be able to be considered for management, CEO, executive, vice president. Just those are some different levels that people shoot for in corporate America. Now, there's still a cap. Once you get up there, there's kind of really nowhere else to go. Now, with being an entrepreneur, it's all how much you put into it. You can work your behind off until you can hire someone to work their behind off and you still get paid. Now, would it be as much as you would if you did it yourself? Probably not, but it's still something called passive income. It's still something that just comes in no matter what's happening. Your business is still going. So there is no ceiling, there's no cap, and no one can tell you how much you can or cannot make. Now, the last thing we'll touch base on that's a con is non-believers. It's just the nature of the game. You're going to have people in your life that's not going to believe that you can do it. Why? Because we have tried again and again, and they're probably thinking that we're going to fail. So you have to be ready for those non-believers, that when you're 100% committed and into it, that you get it done. Because remember, this is your future. No one else can do it for you. But I just have to say that I don't care what anybody thinks. It's time for you. And it's time for me. And I'm super excited I was able to share all of this with you. And I hope you're motivated and pumped to go out there and live your dream. And I always say, always continue to think big. Nothing wrong with that. Thank you.
Are you ready to conquer everything that she talked about in this segment today? Listen, I am really pumped and excited. It has me reevaluating what I need to do about setting my goals and not leaning on excuses. Please be motivated and continue to move on in your journeys. Thank you very much for attending today. Taking a step back is not always a negative situation. This next presenter will speak about her own journeys and what she's had to deal with to move forward, and understanding who is her biggest client as she moves forward in entrepreneurship. I would love for you to evaluate that too. Please welcome to the stage Miss Ashley Hairston.
Open your heart to the possibility of your greatness. Hello and welcome. I am Coach Ashley Hairston, Wellness Coach of Embrace Your Light. Before I get started with my story, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can also read my blog about my healing journey on WordPress. So in 2017, 2018, I was at a low point in my life. My work and my personal life wasn't where I wanted it to be. I dreaded going to work. I even dreaded getting out of bed. And then a close family member got really sick, and I started researching on holistic ways of helping and healing that family member. In the process of doing that research, I discovered health and life coaching, and I completely fell in love with it. I wanted coaching to be a part of my life. I wanted it to be my business. And so I completely quit my job and took a leap of faith. Now, I don't suggest that you do this unless you're called to do it, but I took a big risk. I took the biggest risk in my life, and I just jumped in the deep end. And I didn't have a plan. All I wanted was to be a coach, help people heal, save the world, and there was no turning back from doing that. My first year of my business, I only had 3 clients, and I didn't fully know what I was doing in my business. I didn't know about marketing. I didn't know how to price myself. I didn't know how many sessions I wanted to do. I didn't even know what my business name was. I felt like a complete failure for doing that. So I had to take a step back and look at myself in the mirror and take a deep look of who I wanted to be and ask myself, why did I want to be an entrepreneur? How badly did I want this? Where did I see my business going? And who was my audience? I didn't have a clear answer on that at all. So I did some internal work on myself, and where I got to this point in my life of taking this leap of faith. And I started watching a lot of YouTube. I started meditating. I started getting into meditating. I started sitting in the sun. I started being with myself, isolating myself, of just being in my environment, journaling, painting, listening to a lot of music, taking drives because that helps me clear my head. I didn't know where my leap of faith was going to take me. I just knew where I wasn't where I wanted to be. And one day, with going through everything I was going through, of sitting with myself, I realized that the only way my business was going to be what I wanted to be was I had to heal myself. I had to face my fear and face the biggest critic in my life, which was myself, my ego, and my thoughts of what I had about me. And I even gave her a name. Her name is Rose. And every time that fearful thought about me moving out of my comfort zone came up and moving with my business and healing, I knew that that was Rose just trying to pull me back into the cycle of depression, pull me back into that doubt mode. And so I had to work on myself. I had to heal. And so with me healing and working on myself and being patient and trusting in the process and being in the moment and not letting my thoughts rule me anymore, my mind shift did a whole complete 360. And I finally understood what the book The Secret was talking about when it came to law of attraction. And it's not just the whole, you got to ask and believe and it'll come. No, it's a lot deeper than that. And I had to figure out what that was. And because I didn't give up on myself and started doing the healing process and getting out of that negative thinking, that negative belief, and that self-doubt, it opened up the door to unlocking parts of me that I had locked away for so long. And I got my joy back. I was excited about having a fresh start. I fully enjoyed being in my own company. And I got to travel and fully enjoy the trip the whole entire time because I healed parts of me that was holding me back. And as I was doing that, it opened me up to the answer of what I wanted my business to be and who my clientele was. And literally, it was me. And it was bringing that fire back into my life. It was finding out what my purpose was, connecting to myself, and being that light within myself to help others have their light. To find that happiness within you and to enjoy life to the freaking fullest. So when it comes to taking that leap of faith, you're not going to know every step that you need to take. It's just not going to happen. All you have to do is just have the courage to take the first step. And that's your biggest challenge. It's just taking the step. And if you fail and your ego comes along with that stinking thinking, give him or her a name and observe it and let it go and get back up and try it again. Changing your mindset of thinking that failure is bad. Failure's not bad. It's literally just a lesson and a movement to where you need to grow. It's getting out of that comfort zone and moving you closer to your greatness. And once you take that step out and you move out of that comfort zone and you're patient with yourself during the process, you will start to attract things that you really want in your life. I literally attracted this summit. And it's just the beginning, which is amazing. And with me staying in my purpose, my passion, and trusting myself, that whatever this leap of faith was going to take me, it was going to be the greatest thing ever. I encourage you to take baby steps. Take small chunks. Journal. Heal your mind. Be still. Find out what you need in your life and what you need that's going to give you that motivation and that courage to just take the step and take that leap of faith and let go of that fear to just take that step. I'm still learning and growing with my business and with myself. And I know that whatever challenges comes up along the way, I'm not going to sit in that fear anymore. I'm going to embrace the lesson and grow and learn. And I know that that will open my life onto what I want my life and my business to be. I show gratitude, complete gratitude of where I was, where I'm at, and where I'm going. Because you never know where life is going to take you. But I will say, if you bet on yourself wholeheartedly and trust and stay patient, it will open the doors for you. Every single morning, I show myself gratitude. And every day, it sets the tone of what my day is going to be. And you can do that too. Find your sweet spot of where you can grow your business and know what you need to do in your business. And so I hope that hearing my story of me taking my leap of faith in my business, and even with the failures that I had, I got back up and I'm learning again, and I'm fighting the good fight, and I'm trusting in the path. I'm trusting in attracting what I want in my life because I changed my mindset, but I also healed the parts of me that that was holding me back. And you can do the same thing. So I hope that this encourages you to step out of the matrix, to take the red pill and know that you will be okay. Know that you will find your purpose, find that sweet spot. Have a good one. Take that leap of faith, trust in yourself, love the journey, and see how great your life will become.
Did you embrace what Miss Ashley was bringing to us today? I guarantee you that once you dig deeper into yourself and understand that you are your biggest client, you will be able to move forward and embracing, as she said, your light. Thank you very much for attending today. Sometimes we are taught that through education and hard work that we're going to get to understand what our dreams and aspirations are, to get to reaching the stars. And then there are times where you need to understand what is your gift that's going to take you to that place that you so desire. Please listen to our next presenter as she discusses her own journey and evaluating her gift. I present to you life coach LaToya Little.
Hello everyone, my name is LaToya and I am a life coach. And I've always wanted to be a coach, and I fulfilled my dreams, and I am the most amazing at it. Yeah, no, that wasn't my dream. I was taught, go to school, get an education. And when I got out of high school, it was like, okay, either you're going to go to college or you're going to get a job. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I really didn't. I couldn't figure it out. So I said, well, I'm not going to waste anybody's money. I'm going to go to school for what? I have no idea what I want to do. So I got a job as a daycare provider. And let me tell you, I got everything, almost everything those kids had. I got pink eye. And I didn't get pink eye even when I was in school, but I got pink eye as a daycare worker, laryngitis, pharyngitis. I didn't even know it was two different things. I just thought it was a sore throat. You lose your voice. And yeah, that was an education, truly an education for me. When I was 17, 18, I didn't really have any bills. And then as I got older and I saw things that I wanted, I needed more money, I got a better job. That's what I did. And then before you know it, I have a family to take care of, Fast forward, I'm in my 30s, and I'm like, it's got to be more to life than just this. I'm just working and just coming back home. Hmm, what else? And I went back to school for business. So now I'm in the accelerated program at school. And because here's what I figured. I don't know what I really want to do yet, but whatever it is, I'm going to turn it into a business. So at least if I get a business degree, it's going to help me, right? Yeah. So now as I'm trying to contemplate what it is that I'm going to make a business, now along this journey, I've picked up a few modalities. Like I've learned how to do reflexology. I said I'm going to be a massage therapist, but I didn't want to massage hairy backs. I didn't want to put any oil on there or nothing. But then I realized I like feet. I know it sounds gross, but your feet carry you around. And if your feet aren't relaxed, you can't sleep. So I go and become a reflexologist. Say, yeah, I'm going to start my practice. And then people, do you massage the whole body? No, just your feet. I can do your hands. No, you don't want to. Okay, I get a couple clients, but nothing takes off. Sis, keep your day job. Okay, all right. So, what else am I going to do? And along the way, I meet a Reiki master, which that helps the energy around you, and you'll find out in spas. Because I'm gonna stay in this field. I might even do full body massage. I'm gonna help people. I'm gonna do so many things. Sis, still keep your day job. Do that. Don't you can't go. You have okay. That's what I'm doing. So now I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused, and but I'm still in school to get my bachelor's degree for business, right? So then I'm washing dishes at home, frustrated, and I decide to call those who know me best to say, whatever you do with ease that might be difficult for someone else, that's your gift. Well, because I do what I do with ease, I don't know what that thing is. So I figured, let me do a survey. Let me ask those who are closest to me, what is it that I do? And I was told, basically, I help organize things and I help calm people down. So my cousin said, why don't you become a therapist? I said, listen, I'm already in school for this bachelor's for business. I don't have any more money, no more time. So she said, well, what about a life coach? Aha! I like it. So in about 2013, 2014, I looked for a program. I become a life coach. I start practicing. Great. It's time for me to move on. I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to teach other coaches. But I don't have my master's certificate. Okay, here we go. Another little curve in the road. And then when I try to go to a whole nother program, well, you have to do our first program. You know what? You're right. I'll do it. I'll find this money. I still have my day job. And I'm going to go get this certificate. I'm going to go practice. But then, of course, as I go get my certificate, I do excellent. I found out this is me. It was so easy to me. This is what I need to do. Great. I started to coach. But then I realized I got to balance everything: motherhood, uh, being a daughter, an employee, an entrepreneur. That's a full-time job in itself. It really is. And it's like, I don't know what's this balance. What does that look like? This is a bit much. And then my son needs me more. By the way, by now, I'm like, how do I do all of this? Like, I don't know. So I put everything on hold. I'm going to just focus on motherhood. And I'm still eating away at me. Like, you still have a purpose. You still have a goal. So, all right, I pick it back up. And I I become a master coach, but I'm still just doing bits and pieces of it because I still have all these other obligations. Now, let me tell you this. If there was a map and the map says, okay, you want to be a coach, or you want to be a hairstylist, or you want to be whoever you want to be, take this map. And when you look at the map, it says, here's the destination, here's the route, here's the GPS, you got it. What you don't realize is that no matter who tells you you can do this, you can be this, you can. But it's never a direct flight. If you decide to take an airplane, you always got to have a connecting flight. You got a layover over here unexpected. You missed your connecting flight. You missed that Uber. Like, I was here. Where'd the Uber go? I finally got off the right flight. My luggage got misplaced. That is the life of an entrepreneur. You think I'm going to do this way, it's going to go as scheduled. No, it don't. No, it don't. Now, don't let me deter you. I'm not here to do that. I am just here to explain to you to be flexible. It is necessary to be flexible. If not, you're going to get upset. You're going to get upset anyway, but that's okay. And when you hear celebrities say, oh, fail big, fail fast, fail hard, so you can learn. Like, why I want to fail? Like, who does that? Every entrepreneur you know is who does that. That is necessary for you to be able to make you agile. Because I don't care how many classes you take, how many courses you take, you are going to be great at your craft. But there's the business aspect, there's the marketing aspect, there's the prep for tomorrow. Are you ready for technology as that changes? And people are going to come ask you so many things. Do you have your price list? Did you change your price list? Who are you using to set up your calendars? You'll have so many other people. Oh, my cousin do what you do. What I need you for? Okay. Then understand, instead of being upset or deterred, instead just realize that's not your people. You will attract who you need for your business, but you have to be focused on what it is that you do and make it your baby, because it is. It's your gift, it's your talent, but it takes a village. It truly does. So the parts that you don't do well, you will have to network to find those people to help you. Like, I don't know how to do graphic design and logos, but I had to create networks and meet other people. I've had a couple logos throughout my journey. You have to make connections for people to teach you. I didn't know how to use Instagram. I only got on there because my cousin told me in order for me to get the picture that we took together, I had to get on Instagram, not realizing I was going to use that as a tool for my business. There's so many things that you have to be willing to learn and willing to go through and be bendable and flexible in order to propel your business. So, now back to the journey at hand. As far as moving forward, I enjoy what I do. Um, I enjoy helping people. I enjoy seeing the light bulb turn on and turn. You're waiting for it and it clicks and they got it. And it's like, yes, I'm doing my job correctly. And I still see other programs or courses that I'll take to enhance my skills or my toolbox to help my clients. And that's something else you'll have to be prepared to do. You'll have to be prepared to learn what's out here. Whatever your craft is, someone else is doing a new technique. And to be able to stay flexible or to be up to date it's best to stay on trend and find out what's going on. And then that's also will keep it fresh for you, because anytime you sit somewhere too long, it's uncomfortable. And like most entrepreneurs that I know, you're excited about something new. What is that? How can that help me? How can that help my clients? Ooh, it's exciting. Ooh, how can I make this work? That is also easy to be deterred, to be discouraged, especially if whatever it is you choose to do, you'll have those naysayers tell you, what you trying to do that for? It's already 10 restaurants. You don't need to open up a new one. Why not? Especially if you haven't tasted anything like your recipes anywhere else, there's a need for it. The question is, what are you willing to go through to make sure everyone else is able to see, taste, or use your gift? How strong is your conviction to make sure that you get it out here to the world, or even just to your community, for someone else to use your services? It's those naysayers that will nag at your self-doubt, create self-sabotage. You have to know that you're someone with purpose, and it's up to you to make sure everybody else see it. So I just want to give you a few tools of what helped me. Number one, please stay flexible, because if not, you're going to run into a wall mentally and you're going to give up. You can't. Number two, a couple books that helped me. You're a Badass by Jen Sincero. The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Those two books will make you look at life a little differently. Um, you're a Badass. It's like, that's exactly what it is. She reminds you. Sometimes you forget who you are, and you need someone. You need to be your own cheerleader, because sometimes you can't call on your best friend or that relative, because what if they don't answer the phone and you need that lift or that pick me up right now? And you have your faith or whatever it is you go to. But if you have someone else who has stories of who's been on a journey like yours, it's comforting to know you're not alone. So those two books helps give different perspectives, but also encouragement. So also just know that your gut will help you in the right direction. Listen to it. And if you need a coach, I'm available. So or whatever coaches that you may need in your uh, industry, YouTube videos, or the summit. So please check us out. Have a good time on your journey. Enjoy your journey. And even when you have those bad days, what did you learn from it? Everything is a learning opportunity to make yourself and your business better.
I hope that you have been blessed in her story today, in understanding that sometimes picking out different things and looking at different people and even educating yourself does not always get you to the place that you need to get to. Please be motivated in moving forward and understanding who you are and what is your gift. Thank you very much for attending today. There are times where entrepreneurship brings the best out of you, and you start to understand what has been your God-given talent. This particular presenter expresses to you what some of the differences are in just two ideas of entrepreneurship. Listen to her and take what you can and apply it to your journey. I present to you Miss Fan Sanders.
Hi, I'm Fan, and welcome to my session for the Entrepreneur Impact Summit hosted by Maurice Chism of the Chism Group. I'm so excited to present on this topic today, which is finding your footing in your entrepreneurial space. I'm excited about your entrepreneurial journey, and I'm glad that I get to share in it just a little bit in today's session. So, one of the things that I thought was very important to share was this thing about finding your footing, because I know for me it wasn't something that came naturally, it wasn't something that came easy. It's something that I really had to navigate through. So just a little background on me. My name again is Fan, and I have a company called Free Creative. Free Creative is a space where I meet Christian creatives at the intersecting of their faith and their creativity so that they can live and create on purpose. So practically, what does it look like for my faith to inform my creativity and to create art that glorifies God, right? In a very real and relevant way. So for me, it was difficult to navigate that space when I got saved. So what Free Creative does is just, it meets creatives kind of in that in-between space so that they can find clarity on how to use their creativity in the marketplace. So my entrepreneurial journey started kind of sort of in 2009. So in 2009, I got the name Free Creative, and it was Free Creative Media Productions at the time. I assumed that it was supposed to be like a production house, but no, it wasn't. It wasn't. So that quickly, whatever efforts that I took quickly fizzled and faded. And it wasn't until 2015 where I found myself in this space where I was really seeking God about purpose and what it is that I was supposed to do with my life. And at that point, the Lord had said to create art that reconciles people to Him. And so I said, okay, cool. What does that look like necessarily? Because at that time I had been creating, right? So bringing my creativity into this entrepreneurial space, it was hard for me to kind of like transition it because I didn't have a point of reference. And I know a lot of times for some of us, it can be a little daunting, a little overwhelming, especially if you have this fresh idea that you haven't necessarily seen before, but there's no point of reference to kind of give you a guideline, right? So in 2016, I actually started taking things seriously, and I registered and became an LLC. So, I made it official. So, here I am, I have this mission, I have this company, but I totally lacked clarity. And one of the things that really helped me find my footing is assessing or taking inventory of what type of entrepreneur I was. So today we're going to break it down into two categories, and I feel like these are the two kind of really broad categories that we can deal with today. And it's the category of visionary and the category of administrator. So it wasn't until I figured out which one of those two that I was that really helped me move forward in entrepreneurship, because knowing what type of entrepreneur I was helped to inform how I approached entrepreneurship, right? So I'm an administrator. I'm very creative, but I guess just over the years have become like very administrative, highly organized, detail oriented. So as an administrator, it's easy for me to see the details. It's easy for me to see the steps, to create an outline, to see process and implement structure. Whereas for a visionaries see big picture and they struggle with the details, right? So if you're sitting there and you're like, yo, that's me, like, yo, we're like halfway to cracking the code, right? So if you are a visionary, you are going to approach entrepreneurship in a different way than I would as an administrator. So as an administrator, my struggle is seeing the big picture, right? So where I can get an idea and say, okay, cool, I want to do this. I want to build this program, or I want to start this group or this community, whatever the goal is, whatever the project is, I'll see the step by step to it. And so what hinders me a lot is I'm not a trigger puller. I'm gun shy, right? I'm not going to jump out of the window because I want all of the information and I have all of the questions and I need all of the data, right? So that's how I function just as an individual. I'm just very organized. I see step by step, and visionaries, they see big picture, and they can tell you what it looks like and how it's going to be. And, they see futuristically, but the day to day, what needs to happen to get there isn't always clear for the visionary. So today I just wanted to encourage you, whichever one you are, I just want to walk through some points to, encourage you in some things and hopefully bring some clarity so that you can find your footing in your unique space. Okay. So for the first, we're going to deal with visionaries first. The first thing is be okay with the 1,000,003 ideas that you get per day. As a visionary, ideas come easily, right? You get so many ideas. So the key for you is to write them down. Write down those ideas when they come. Don't trust your memory with them because you never know what groundbreaking thing that you just received that you threw away because you didn't write it down. So you want to write down those ideas and do not try to accomplish them all in the same week. So pace yourself. As a visionary, one of the things you'll have to learn to do is to pace yourself. And for me, I speak through a faith, scope. My encouragement to you would be to pray and ask God, okay, out of these 3,052 ideas, which one or which, couple are you asking me to run with right now? Because the thing about a visionary too is where they're willing to jump out the window and to, move on all of these ideas, their finish isn't always as strong. So you want to be sure that as an entrepreneur that you're setting yourself up for success by focusing on what's right now, understanding what's for down the road. And when you focus on what's in front of you, you'll be able to complete it start to finish, right? So be okay with all of those ideas, write them down. The next thing is it's okay to not have answers, right? So again, visionaries see big picture. And a lot of times when you go to share your idea with folks, especially with people like me, as an administrator, I'm going to ask you all the questions. I'm going to say, okay, cool, that sounds great. So how are we going to do this, and how does this work, and what do we need, and when do you want to launch it, and so on and so forth. So the key is to be okay with not knowing the answer, and don't let not knowing the answer make you feel pressure. Get into the habit of saying, I don't know. Be okay with saying, I don't know, or let me think through that, or I'm still working through that idea. I'm not quite sure. So don't let everyone else's questions make you feel pressure. Okay. So it's okay not to know all of the answers. The next thing is to be kind and be gracious to yourself. Give yourself grace when it comes to the administrative tasks that you have to do. Wouldn't it be lovely to be able to staff your need, right? So our weak areas, it would be so great if we could just kind of delegate that to someone else. But as entrepreneurs, especially if we're solopreneurs, a lot of times we have to do the thing that we're not the greatest at, because that's just part of the process. So, don't let the task, the administrative kind of, systems, process, filing, keeping track, organizing, don't let those things become overwhelming for you. Pace yourself again. And just be kind with yourself. Mark out a time, find something that works for you, but don't let it be a pain point to the point where you're not being productive as an entrepreneur because you're afraid to kind of tackle those areas that may not be your strengths. Go into them and give yourself, grace. Be patient with yourself. Okay. The next thing to absolutely understand as a visionary type entrepreneur is that everyone is not going to see what you see, and that's okay. Right? So as a visionary, you see these big, grandiose ideas. You see these companies, you see them like full out, right? In future form, fully functioning, right? everybody doesn't have the mind capacity to see those things, to see futuristically like you. And especially if we're dealing with people who live, and there's nothing wrong with this, but who live within like a 9-to-5 box, and they like routine and they don't really want to deviate too far outside of that. When you share your ideas with folks like that, just expect people not to get it and be okay with it. Don't let their lack of seeing what you see be an offense to you and discourage you from going after the big dream, right? As visionaries, I also want to encourage you to recognize the people around you. For me as an administrator, I often find myself collaborating and partnering with visionaries because it's such a beautiful collaboration, because what their strength is my weakness, and vice versa. And so the exchange is very equal, it's very reciprocal, and it's beautiful, right? It helps me see bigger and it helps them get organized. So as a visionary, take an assessment of the people around you and see who you're supposed to be partnered with, connected with, and see the value in someone else's strength. Like I remember there was a time where I was working under, it was a former leader of mine, definitely a visionary, and I would get pulled in to hear these great, visions and hopes and dreams and things that they wanted to do. And so just the way I'm wired, I'm automatically thinking, okay, how can we accomplish this? What do we need to put in place? How can we organize this? We need this part and this part and this part, right? So that's how my brain works. And so then I start asking questions, and automatically I was shut down and told to stop thinking and just dream. And while I understand where that came from, at the same time, that person wasn't able to see how my value or my gift could work to help them get to their end goal. So just know that everybody isn't going to be like you, and everybody doesn't have to be like you. Everybody shouldn't be like you. Let's, take a look and find the value around us. As a visionary, you don't want to be in a circle of just visionaries only. You need administrators in your circle as well, just like administrators need visionaries in their circle, right? So hopefully that was helpful, brought some clarity to you as far as finding your footing. So once you figure out, if you've identified in this moment, hey, I am a visionary type entrepreneur. So where I get stuck at are these processes, because you may be able to get something up and off the ground and running, right? So you have your business, it's going, but you're failing because your infrastructure is poor, or you lack processes, right? Receiving things, organizing client information, scheduling, those things aren't necessarily your strength. So what you want to do is either one, spend some time strengthening those areas, or two, find someone in your circle, people who that you can, maybe barter with, or hire the service if you're at that point where you can do that, to have somebody come in and organize for you, clear out your inbox, in your mail, or go through and respond to people, whatever the case may be. Just make sure that now you're approaching entrepreneurship in a way that is most efficient and effective for you, so that you can have the most impact. So next I'm going to move on to my administrators. Woohoo! So a couple of points that I have for administrators, and I really do hope this is helpful. The first thing I want to encourage you with, the first point, is ask your questions. Don't be afraid to ask the zillion and 10 questions that you have, okay? Because I know you have them. I have them. And a lot of times, especially if we're dealing with the visionary, they may not have all the answers, right? They may not know or be sure of what the next step is. So don't let that discourage you, and don't let that make you timid about asking your questions, because I guarantee you they need your questions, because it's going to bring them clarity. It's going to cause them to think about things that they didn't consider before, right? So don't, let the faces intimidate you to stop asking your questions. And then also be mindful that the speed in which our questions come can be a bit much. So you do want to just be aware of your approach when you're asking the questions. You may need to temper it with, hey, so I'm going to ask you some questions, and I know you may not know all of the answers, but you may want to jot them down because they'll be helpful later. So if ever, if it gets to a point where it's too much, just let me know. But let's run through these questions. It's going to be helpful. So be confident in asking your questions, all 3 jillion of them. Okay. The next is you think differently, you process differently, and that is okay. So just being confident in how you think and how you process, trust me, it is so valuable to someone else. It's so valuable to the person who doesn't think and process the way that you do in a very organized and methodical way. And give yourself patience and grace, right? Give yourself space to take the time to think. There are going to be things that you're not going to be able to offer right away because you have to sit and you have to think about it. Like for me, if I'm creating a process or some type of system, I may need to sit with it for a day or so and think through all of the nuances and all of the moving parts, right? So if you don't have answers right away, it's okay, right? Because the way you think and the way you process is a bit different. So embrace that and don't let that make you feel different or don't let that make you feel like you have less value, because other people, they can come up with responses off the cuff. But for you, because you're an administrator, you have to think through and process. Now, we do get to the point where we've done something so many times that we can process quicker, and that just comes with time and practice. But don't be afraid to take your time to think and process the way that you do. Okay. The next thing is be okay with the unknown. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm not a trigger puller. Right? It takes me a minute to launch something because I want to make sure that everything is together. All of my ducks are in a row. All of my I's are dotted. My T's are crossed. And so I can be so consumed with having everything perfect or right that I never even launch. You know what I mean? I may be so concerned with not knowing the next step or not knowing this piece of it or how this is going to play out because I want to know all of the details. I want to know all the steps. I need all of the data. What it really does is it hinders me, right, from being able to even move forward and be productive as an entrepreneur, because now I have all of these great ideas, but they're sitting waiting for, I don't even know. Right? So don't be afraid of the unknown and don't be afraid of discovery. There's so much value and beauty in discovery and walking into those unknown spaces. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but we here, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a great place to be. And it's okay when you're there and you don't have all of the information. So as an administrator, I know it's tough, because you want your form to be completely filled in, right? You need every cell populated with the data, but it's cool. Learn how to be okay with moving forward without all of the information. Don't be afraid of the unknown. The next thing is to not be afraid to do the work of discovery, right? So as uncomfortable as it is, be okay with sitting down and taking your time. Right? So for me as an administrator, the big picture doesn't come easily. The big picture is what I have to work at. So while the visionary sees the big picture and they have to work really hard about those details, the details are easy for me, but the big picture isn't always clear, right? So don't be afraid of the work of discovery. Like I've found myself sitting in the rocking chair and just closing my eyes and saying, okay, Lord, show me this end game. Show me what this looks like in the end, because now I know what I'm moving forward toward, right? And sometimes as an administrator, if I don't know where I'm going, I'm not going to move because I need a destination to put into the GPS. So if I don't have a destination, we not starting this car. It's not moving. But in order to be productive and to make progress, you have to be okay with doing the work of discovery, taking that time and being okay with it coming slowly. You know what I mean? Like we have the steps, so implement the steps. And while we're implementing the steps, also just do that self-discovery work and do the work of discovery and seeing that big picture. The last thing I want to encourage you with or give you is don't discount your value, right? So as a creative who is an administrative type of entrepreneur, I was like, man, I don't want to be the one bogged down with all the the tasks list and the administrative and organizational stuff. That's not creative, but that's a lie. It is very creative. Being able to create solutions is so valuable, and that is creativity at its best. So as an administrator, don't discount your value, right? Don't look at the visionary and be like, oh, they're so dope because they see all the things. It's cool because you have the steps to get to all the things, right? So just see yourself as valuable, knowing that coming up with a process, knowing that being structured and organized is creative, and it will lead to you doing the best and making the most impact in your entrepreneurial space. Okay, so thank you guys so much. My hope is that this session helps you lean a little bit more into your strength, helped you to see what your strengths are and how they will aid you, right, as you move forward as an entrepreneur. Man, I just hope this was prayerfully. I hope this was valuable, and I hope this was something that you can kind of take away with you. And let's connect. Let's stay in touch. I'm excited about your journey. Listen, you can follow me on Instagram at FanSanders, Facebook, same thing. Find me online at fansanders.com. I would love to connect with you. If you go to the website, please sign up for the mailing list. You'll get a monthly newsletter, so I'm not going to inundate your inbox with a bunch of emails. But once a month, I'll just make sure you're in the loop. Plus, you'll get access to resources and tools that help creatives get organized and help creatives find a process so that they can complete projects start to finish. And also you can go to the website and purchase my first ebook. So I would love to see you guys online. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your attention, and God bless you as you move forward and find your footing in your entrepreneurial space.
Now I'm gonna tell you, listening to Fan today really has me evaluating if whether or not I'm a visionary or an administrator. I thought I was an administrator at one time, but she maybe has me thinking that maybe I'm a visionary a little bit. I would like for you to do the same thing. Thank you very much for attending. Being an entrepreneur is an ever-changing journey, and I encourage you to continue on that journey through all the ups and downs. Be assured that all of us are going through the journey with you. Each and every one of us, myself including these panelists today, are here to assist you. Please be sure to follow them on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Please be sure to follow Chism Group on all the same platforms. Also, you'll be able to listen to their audio version of the summit today via That Will Never Work podcast, now found on all your favorite streaming channels. Thank you very much for attending. Also, wait a second. The process doesn't stop here. Stay tuned. We will have more summits, more information, more education coming to you. Again, our tagline for Chism Group LLC is educate, empower, enable, and impact. See you at the top.